When you're facing a challenge as profound as ALS, where do you even begin to look for resilience? Well, today we're going to explore how some ancient Buddhist principles can offer a really practical human framework. We're not talking about abstract philosophy here, but real tools for the journey. This quote from a practitioner, wow, it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about. It shows that these practices aren't about escaping reality. They're a way to find little moments of freedom within the difficulty, a way to change your experience even when you can't change the facts themselves. So, the starting point for this whole journey is just acknowledging the profound suffering that comes with a diagnosis like this. The very first step forward is to meet that reality with honesty and, just as importantly, with compassion for yourself. Okay, so how do you navigate this new landscape? Buddhism offers something like a map, and it's not a set of beliefs you have to just adopt, but a framework for understanding what's happening. It's called the Four Noble Truths. This framework is actually incredibly logical, kind of like a doctor's diagnosis. First, you just acknowledge that the suffering is real. Second, you start to understand where it comes from, and not just the disease, but that craving for how things used to be, which can really amplify the pain. Third, you realize that this added layer of suffering can actually end. And fourth, you're given a clear path to follow to make that happen. And this right here, this is the crucial point. This entire framework is about inner work, a fundamental shift in your perspective. The goal isn't to cure the body, because that might not be possible. It's to cultivate a mind that can find stability right in the middle of the challenge. It's all about changing your relationship to the experience. The path forward involves two really powerful tools for the journey: getting a handle on the concept of impermanence and investigating this idea of no self. So first up, impermanence. Everything changes, always. I mean, we know this, right? Good moments pass, but you know what? So do the difficult sensations. Really thinking about this truth can help soften the fear of decline and loosen our grip on what we used to be, which allows us to be more present with who we are right now. Now, the second tool, no self, is even more profound. It suggests that this illness is something you are experiencing, not something you are. You are not a fixed, solid, sick person. You're an ever-changing process of thoughts, feelings, and body sensations. The illness is a part of that process, for sure, but it is not the entirety of you. And this insight leads to a really powerful, almost liberating question. If your identity isn't defined by your physical condition, then who are you? This question opens up so much space for a broader, more resilient sense of self to emerge. What's so great is that this isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Different Buddhist traditions offer unique ways to explore this freedom. For instance, a Theravada practitioner might observe a painful spasm not as my pain, but simply as a sensation arising and passing. In a Mahayana tradition, the focus might be more on surrender, on letting go of that small, fearful self by trusting in something greater. And a Vajrayana practice could involve something like visualizing the body as pure light, which really helps to loosen that heavy, solid identification with a physical form that's in decline. Okay, so we have these incredible tools, but how do we actually use them in the moment? Well, the fundamental skill that ties all of this together is mindfulness. The simple, though let's be honest, not always easy, practice of just paying attention to right now without judging it. Just look at the profound difference this one shift in attention makes. When we just react, our mind gets caught up in aversion and fear, which just amplifies our pain and leads to exhaustion. But when we mindfully observe, we create space. The mind shifts from being a panicked participant to a calm witness, and in that space, peace and real resilience can begin to grow. The real beauty of mindfulness is just how incredibly adaptable it is. This isn't about trying to sit in some difficult pose. It can be something as simple as feeling the sensation of your breath, even if you have respiratory support, or a mental walking meditation where you just visualize each step in a favorite place. It can even be about fully experiencing a single sip of water, the temperature, the taste, the feeling of it. These practices are accessible to absolutely everyone right where they are. So, as we start to bring these ideas together, you can see the theme that's emerging. It's not about finding some escape hatch from suffering. It's about finding a path through it with awareness, with courage, and with grace. And here's the core takeaway, really. The physical reality of the illness might not change. But by acknowledging suffering, understanding our reactions to it, and practicing mindfulness, we can fundamentally transform our relationship to that suffering. We can actually find meaning and peace right in the middle of the storm. And this leaves us with a final, really empowering question. What if true peace isn't found by trying to escape our challenges, but by courageously meeting them with an open, aware, and compassionate heart?